nasty one. He's a naughty one. And I was like, no, I don't want to see it. Don't do it. It wasn't a paint one. It was completely different. It was like Clark Kent, by the sounds of it.
No. Even like Kevin Owens' character at this point, when he sat in that chair back there, looking at his entrance, he was like, yeah, and what?
Yeah, totally. Again, these two guys at this time very much on top of the game from what was going on. Finn Balor pretty new to it all, but he settled in really, really fast, didn't he, Matt? And Kevin Owens came in straight at the top, didn't he? He didn't really batter around too much. We've got a real fast track, in fact.
Definitely. We're talking about like AAA guys who were not in the company, but definitely had the pedigree to be in the company, and that's why they ultimately got where they were, because they were just so good.
Am I right in thinking, Matt, that Kevin Owens had already had his run against John Cena at this time with the belt, with the NXT title?
He did make a debut as NXT champion, didn't he? And that was, I'm regretting that they never did that again, because he was not the only guy that got to do that, and it kind of makes it unique in that sense, but it really made the belt mean something. Yeah,
because I remember at the time John Cena was like the US champion, and it was kind of unique to do that, and you know the way they were doing it. And yeah, you're right, it put a little bit more stock into that belt at this point when Kevin Owens was holding it.
Yeah,
this was the moment, mate. You can see all the fans looking. You remember this? All the fans are looking up there. Get that guy back in. And then everyone was chanting yes. Oh my god. Backstage, Triple H must have been saying, what the hell's going on? This is my main event you've just ruined.
He's probably looking at you going, bring that guy back.
Get him in quick. Just fucking distracting everybody. It's crazy how something like that will take everybody out of even a main event, you know. But you'll probably get another big thing happen slightly later where you'll see people looking over there when he come back in.
I mean, even the dedication to his makeup when he's got scars on the back of his legs, you know, they really went all out for this guy.
Yeah, it was so well done, you know, and can still be that. That's crazy when Kevin Owens does that. You know, one day will it ever go wrong? It's like a bowling ball coming towards you. So that takes you into the turnbuckle. But I've got to say, I was probably with you a little bit here, Matt. I was really digging Kevin Owens. I was still not sold completely on Finn, but you know, I knew he was talented. I'd seen enough of his stuff with the Bullet Club to know this guy was good, but in WWE I wasn't really sure of the whole demon thing just yet. But like you, Matt, this one sold it to me that there's something here, there's stuff for them to do with this. He's got that look about him. The only thing, you know, like most times, is his height with Vince McMahon, but you know, that should never be a problem when you've got a guy like Daniel Bryan who has just proven that it makes absolutely no odds at all. You know, and still to this day probably is by far the most over guy they have. So just goes to show you. And you know, there's nothing, you wouldn't say there's nothing extremely marketable about Daniel Bryan, but I mean, you can't buy that kind of reaction, can you? So does it really matter about all that, as Kevin Owens for the first time goes for a ladder? You forget this is a ladder match just all of a sudden then, huh?
I kind of did, you know, after all the, I mean, like 3 years back, and then I'm thinking, I focused so much on the women's match that I forget about this as the main event. It kind of overshadowed this a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's where I went back to my earlier point, where that should have been the main event, because I look at this now, I've kind of forgot this was a ladder match, but I knew ladders were in play. It's almost like I kind of thought it was a street fight or something.
I mean, I kind of feel for this in a slight way that if this was any other night, this would have definitely been the best match, and we would have been talking about this. Because I still think this match, from what I recall, was probably still be in the top 3 of the whole weekend. You know, I know the Undertaker Brock match, I remember really enjoying that. as much as I could. But this match definitely was in the top 3 of the whole weekend.
I love that moment there. Fans were
yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah, I love because it was almost like you're giving the fans what they want. You know, they're getting geared up for it, and he's like, "Nah, you're not getting that. I'm not doing that for you." And that's the true mark of a heel there. You know, more guys have got to be doing that.
I think we're talking about like 2 intelligent wrestlers here. I think they've come out this night at this main event, and they know they have to go somehow out to the previous match.
Yeah, and you can either, you know, work with it or work against it. I think they worked with it here. I think that they probably changed a few bits of this to make sure it didn't seem, you know, like they knew the fans' energy levels were probably going to be down. Man, it's crazy. Every time I look out into the audience, there's a Bullet Club T-shirt. It's just everywhere, even at this point. And yeah, that T-shirt. I know Steve Austin's 316 is huge, but that Bullet Club, that is still to this point, and it's not just the biggest non-WWE T-shirt to sell, but it is the biggest wrestling T-shirt in the world currently of sales. I'm not surprised. So it's crazy how something like that gets over.
Yeah, and it was a big moment as well, I suppose, because a lot of people had the Bullet Club T-shirt before Finn Balor probably even signed. So coming here, it's a great way to show the support, and you know, it's a little bit of a backhanded compliment that people will walk into a WWE environment with that. Yeah.
Funny thing was, I think it was this year, wasn't it? Cody Rhodes come up with a new logo. Did you see it, Matt? For the T-shirt. Oh, it got so much bad heat that he came out like 24 hours later and said, "No, we won't do it. I promise." They gave a new design for a new T-shirt for the Bullet Club, like with a new logo, and fans rebelled against it so much that it made Cody Rhodes go, "No, it's going to get pushed aside. We're not going to do it after all." They like what they like.
They tried to revamp the Bullet Club.
Yeah, they tried to do like a completely new logo and T-shirt type thing for it.
I don't think you ever can. It's a bit like the NWO logo. No one ever accepts that.
Yeah, you can only just change it, tweak it ever so slightly, and that's it. That's the best you can hope for. Once something works, it works. You know. Man, that looked pretty lethal.
This was probably my favourite Kevin Owens T-shirt, the masking tape.
Yeah, I liked that one. Yeah, I liked that one as well. I mean, like Matt said earlier, I've got quite a few Kevin Owens T-shirts because I quite like his WrestleMania ones that he does. Like every WrestleMania he's in, he kind of copies it to the WrestleMania logo of that number that he's going to appear at. So he's like done 1, 2, and the recent one, number 3, is like there's 2 of him, but there's like a big version of his head as Andre and a small version as Hogan, standing against each other, which is kind of cool. And it's kind of cool because he can kind of go with that for probably the rest of his career. I doubt he's going to outdo like those gimmicky looking WrestleMania logos that there used to be. Nowadays the logos all look very similar. There's nothing quite unique about them. But back in the day, they always used to have something small little change in them, which is and it's always good retro stuff anyway, and I'm a massive fan of it. So he's got something good going on there. I'm sure a lot of guys wish they'd have thought of that themselves, because that's always going to sell well.
I mean, 4 should be an interesting one then.
Yeah, that would be Trump Plaza, so we'll see what we get there with the mega powers in hand.
Well, I don't know. I mean, hopefully Sammy's back by then. So
yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that is a great point. They could both do something there. Yeah, perhaps they'll both be doing that image. That would be very interesting. As you see this match, I've got to say these two have been laying it in very, very thick. Got to give it to them.
It's kind of a unique ladder. It's got like hazard kind of symbols.
Yeah.
That's about.
And that belt looks far too high up for that ladder to reach, by the way. You're gonna I like the way of the intensity of so far of this match, though. You know, holding nothing back.
No, not at all.
It's weird to see Finn Balor. I mean,
was even there, right?
It's weird to see Finn Balor doing the moves he's doing as well. Even, you know, like so offensive back here.
I really like this drop kick he does. Is he going for that now? I think, no, he was trying for it, but it's a good move. That I mean, catapults straight into the turnbuckle, sets up his finisher perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he'd be able to put it off of a ladder in the turnbuckle anyway.
Yeah.
I remember going to this WWE Live event once and sitting behind these fans, and they all of a sudden these fans in front of me started shouting, "He's going for the Coupe de Grace!" I was like, have you just read it on the internet or something? It's like French, so I mean you pronounced it right.
Yeah. Sounds like our mutual friend. Yeah, DJ Punk, of course. See, here we go. Look, there's no getting out of that when somebody does that to you. There's no like that's gonna go like light on you when Kevin Owens just basically puts all his damn weight on top of you while you're laying across a ladder.
I mean, it's amazing how much hard work Kevin Owens had to put in, because his physique is a detriment to him, but you know his actual natural like abilities in the ring, and when you couple that with the fact that these days there's not that many people who are naturally good on the microphone, but Kevin Owens is a standout above all else.
Yes.
I mean, there's him, there's the Miz, and if you want to throw any other people out there that are good on the mic, then good luck to you.
Yeah, no, you're right, and you know it's oh god, it's a credit to himself, because I've never like, although the look of him, you know, isn't your typical wrestling guy, especially WWE guy. I think it's a credit to him the fact that, you know, I've never not looked at him as a not a threat, because he looks always so good in the ring, like carries himself well. I think the body shape, if anything, should be only a positive, because of the amount of guys that all do look generically the same sometimes. That you think a guy comes along like Kevin Owens, and actually it can work for his favour sometimes as well. I know people will think that's weird, but there are not too many guys of that look that can be as good as he can be in that ring. So, you know, and I think Triple H definitely saw that in him, because he loses that.
I think WWE's getting smarter as well. I think like Kevin Owens plays a heel character, but he's a very relatable heel character.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an everyday. You look at his physique, everyday guy. You know.
Oh, I could easily see him being a successful babyface, having that Daniel Bryan kind of thing, that underdog because of his look, but yet he's so good in the ring. I could easily see people relating to him like Daniel Bryan in that sense. But obviously they've decided to go this way with him, which is not a bad idea, because he's so good and confident on the mic. But it could easily have been the other way around, Matt, and I think he would have been really successful at it as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's still potential for that as well.
Yeah.
That's why I think WWE's getting smart. It's not just black and white anymore. It's not like good guys, bad guys. Even though he's a heel, it's cool to like a heel sometimes.
Yeah.
But even cooler to like a relatable one, where he isn't totally jacked, you know, he hasn't got muscles. And even like the things that Kevin Owens says on the microphone, when he says, "Oh, my child looks up to you as a hero, but like you're not that much of a hero," you know, it just shows you that he's family orientated as well. There's so many subtleties, depths to this character.
Yeah, especially the stuff around Owen Hart as well, you know, like naming his son Owen after him and stuff like that. You know, this guy is so relatable for a lot of fans that are really into their wrestling. You know, that line alone would get him, you know, babyface easily. When you know that much about him, that he's, you know, that was his favourite wrestler out of, you know, all of them, which is kind of an odd choice when you look at Kevin Owens, but you know, it's just goes to show you.